Delegates from 12 out of 13 states met in Philadelphia in 1787 to form the United States government. Out of the 3 plans presented during this meeting, 2 of them were going to be considered. These 2 plans were the New Jersey Plan and the Virginia Plan. There was one major difference between the 2. The Virginia Plan suggested a 2-house legislature, but the New Jersey Plan only proposed 1 house. The Virginia Plan was the plan used for the government. Each plan also had an executive branch, as well as judicial branch. These were things the convention could agree on. The major agreement was how the states could receive representation in the 2 houses of the legislature. The Great Compromise was made to determine how much representation each state would get in the Senate and the House of Representatives. The Great Compromise was an agreement that large and small states reached during the Constitutional Convention of 1787. The larger states wanted representation based on population because of the amount of people in their state. Most of the larger states were located in the South. They had such a large population because of all the slaves. The smaller states wanted equal representation because they did not have a large population, so they thought it was unfair the larger states could receive more representation. The delegates who were meeting in Philadelphia argued throughout June of 1787 to figure out how representation in the legislative branch would work. The delegates couldn't come up with a solution, so they selected a committee to come up with the solution. They were the ones who came up with the Great Compromise. To satisfy smaller states, each state would have an equal representation in the first branch of the legislature. To satisfy large states, each state would get representation based on population in the second branch. In the Senate, there was equal representation. Every state would get 2 representatives. The House of Representatives was based on population. Each state would get 1 representation for every 30,000 people. This compromise was passed by the delegates on July 16, 1787. So the Great Compromise helped to create a solution to satisfy every state. The representation of the legislative branch of the U.S. government is still the same 200 years later.